Hello. So today we're doing solving simple equations. I understand you might get mad at me if you don't think these are simple and I'm calling them simple, but comparatively speaking they are simple compared to the ones we will do in a couple of videos later. Okay, so first of all, when you're watching this is assuming we've already proved subtraction property of equality and division property of equality. So in the equations that I show you in this video, I will be using SPE and DPE, in case you didn't know what those are. Okay, so we're starting super simple first, and that is one-step equations. And these are equations that can be solved in one step. I may show you a couple of micro steps for a grand total of 3 steps just to make a point. But you can certainly do these in one step. So we'll start with solving x plus 15 equals negative 31. I guess first I'll do the one-step version, and that is when you subtract 15 from both sides using SPE. That will isolate the x. And I'm still going to put the reasons on the side here as if we were doing a proof. But you don't have to do that. I just want you to know that how we're getting from here to here. So this is one step, subtracting 15 from both sides. But what's really going on here? Since SPE was derived from APE, addition property of equality, this is really what's going on. So from here, what I'm really doing is adding negative 15. Because we all know subtraction does not exist, right? It's really addition of negatives. So I'm really doing this, and that pair of inverses becomes a 0, and this is just computation on the right. And then because of identity, the 0 disappears. So that's really what's going on behind the scenes, but this is fine too, since we already proved SP. You can do that. Okay, another one-stepper would be this one. Okay, so we got a fraction involved, and fractions make things ugly for most people, so we want to get rid of the fraction, and since it's multiplied with x, we can use DPE and divide. So if I divide both sides by 3/5, the x will be isolated, and this side becomes 7 times 5/3, which is 35/3. And that's DPE. But again, what's really going on is, first of all, I am multiplying 5/3 on both sides. Okay. Because as we know, division doesn't really exist. Multiplication does. So I multiply by the inverse of 3/5, 5/3. All of that cancels. And the right side, again, is just computation. Okay, now two-step. equations. Six minus 3x equals 8. So that x is trapped in that term, 3x. I got to free it, rescue it, so I got to get rid of this 6 first. And then I can work on getting rid of the negative 3. So first, getting rid of the 6, I subtract 6 from both sides. And don't forget that negative sign, that's a plus negative, right? That minus is a plus negative, so that negative is still there, the negative 3. So that's an SPE step I just did. And then x is negative 2/3 when I do my DPE step, dividing both sides by negative 3. Okay, I'm not going to show the essence of that like I did up here. And my second example in this section is x over 2 plus 3 equals 10. Again, that x is trapped in that fraction, so to release it, I got to get rid of that 3. So I do that by subtracting 3 from both sides. That's my SPE step. And then multiplying by 2 on both sides. That's an MPE step, right? Not DPE, because I'm multiplying by 2 on both sides. All right, next up, distributive property. Now there are two ways to approach this one. I'll do the more traditional way first. So parentheses are bad. We want to get rid of parentheses. That's a high priority when solving equations. So one way to get rid of them is I can use distributive property and multiply that 3 in to that x minus 4. So that's distributive property. And now, as you can see, we're in the same situation we were up here. 2 steps, right? 2-step situation. So I'm going to add 12. That is APE. And then divide by 3. DPE. Okay, the other way of doing this one, instead of multiplying that 3 into the x minus 4, I'm going to use DPE and divide both sides by 3. Okay, I divided both sides by 3. That canceled out this 3, and then on the right side you see I have 5 over 3 now. Now that also got rid of the parentheses, because the only reason we have the parentheses here is because we're being multiplied with 3. But since I took 3 out of the picture, don't need parentheses anymore. And now I'm just going to add 4 on both sides. 4 and 5/3. 17 over 3. I don't know why I have to think. I already know the answer. It's right there. Okay, so 2 ways of getting parentheses out of the way: distributive property or DPE. DPE. Okay, let's try one more of those. Distributive property. So here's the second example for distributive property. So traditional way first, I'm going to multiply through by the negative 4. Negative times negative here. focus is not working. There we go. And sorry, that was distributive property. Now I'm going to add 8 on both sides. That was APE. And divide by 4 on both sides. DPE. Okay, last type of situation in this video on solving simple equations is clearing fractions. So this is a situation where you have more than one fraction in your equation. So here we have 3 fractions, and they all happen to have the same denominator. So I'm going to use an MPE step. Okay, I'm switching to a pencil because my pen ran out of ink. I'm going to use an MPE step and multiply everything by 2, both sides. So I'm going to actually show this. Okay, so 2 on both sides, left and right. And now I'm going to distribute that 2 here. And then do a simple computation here. So that was actually distributive property, because I was distributing that 2. And then I'm subtracting 3. SP. And now I'm dividing by 5. DPE. Okay, so that step of multiplying both sides by 2 cleared all 3 fractions. That's why we're calling this the clearing fractions type of equation. Now that was nice and easy because the denominators were all the same, right? So what you multiply both sides by was clear. This, in this example, is not as clear. So, yes, one of my denominators is 2, but 2 will not work. I can't multiply both sides by 2 and expect all the denominators to disappear. 4 won't work either. 8 will work, because it'll definitely clear this fraction. It will clear this denominator. It'll clear this denominator because 4 and 2 both go into 8. So okay, that's my MPE step. And now I'm going to distribute that 8. That's distributive property. Now I'm going to add 1. That's APE. And now I'm going to divide by 6. And that is definitely reducible, so we reduce that to negative 5 over 2. And that's my DPE. And I am done there. Okay, so that's solving simple equations, 1-step, 2-step distributive property, and clearing fractions.